Luzon and the others returned from their scouting mission with very peculiar news. While I had certainly expected bandits, cultists, or even wild animals, I had never expected them to return with stories of monstrous mushrooms. It was unfortunate because over the past few days I had begun making arrangements to begin further expanding the village. While we certainly couldn't afford anything ambitious at the moment, it was always a good idea to plan for the future, and when construction began, we were going to need all of the lumber that the Weald had to offer. I summoned the most learned of the recruits to the sanitarium to discuss this new threat. I think it was the newcomer, Cavendish, who first proposed that these things might be men who were somehow infected with a fungal disease. Henrik and Purge seemed undecided, but the sisters, more learned in the ways of unnatural diseases, were quick to agree with the plague doctor's theory. I must admit, the idea that some sort of fungal infection could somehow transform men into such monstrosities seemed absurd to me, but I was hardly an expert on the matter. I guess it didn't really matter where they came from anyway. I just wanted to know what we could do to get rid of the things. Again, it was Cavendish who spoke up first, proposing a more exhaustive scouting mission to gather proper samples. He almost seemed a little too enthusiastic about the proposal, but perhaps I was simply imagining things. After all, it was difficult to really get a good read on him with that mask muffling his voice and obscuring his features. Luzon and Carl had already been to the Weald once, and they seemed more than willing to return. The good doctor could tend to minor injuries, but given the dangers that apparently lurked in those woods, I decided that they were also going to need a proper healer. Carol and Henrik both had other business to tend to at the sanitarium, and Bunny was nowhere to be found, so that just left Purge. Fortunately, he seemed quite pleased at the prospect of studying those fungal fiends up close. Cavendish couldn't give me a proper estimate of just how long the expedition would take, so I erred on the side of caution and procured more supplies than usual. The party seemed confident as they prepared to depart, and I certainly applauded their bravery in the face of the unknown. I just had to hope that this disease, or whatever it was, wouldn't end up getting the better of them.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Episode 8. Today marks not only our second visit to the Weald, but also our second medium-length adventure. There's a lot of dungeon ahead of us, but fortunately scouting missions like this one are a bit easier than most other quests. I've already realized that I once again forgot to equip trinkets, but hopefully that won't end up mattering, and I will be making a dungeon prep checklist for the future.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent.
Okay, they're starting us off with a moderately difficult fight. Fortunately, we're well equipped to handle cultists. No luck with the stun. Let's toss out some bleeding. Carl is actually coping with that stabbing pretty well, but let's heal him up anyway. And now we can get some payback.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Nice, that's one down. Luzon could easily finish off that other brawler, but we should really be focusing on the acolytes. We could have Purge try to heal Carl again, but I think we'll leave that to Cavendish. Let's mess up the enemy formation instead.
disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Very nice. Just one more to go. It helps that we keep dodging most of their attacks. The Acolyte will bleed to death on our next action, so we'll just toss out some healing.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
That fight went a lot more smoothly than I'm used to. Hopefully we're not using up all of our good luck in the first room.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Okay, let's get back to the rest of the dungeon. Oh, right, but before we go too much farther, let's take a quick look at the heroes we're working with. Alright, let's keep moving. Getting hungry a little early there, but I guess we have no shortage of food. In fact, we're actually already out of inventory space. Let's make a little more room for treasure. Clear so far. We'll explore the southern path, then we'll double back and start heading west. Just 3 spiders. This should be a nice, easy fight.
Another one falls. The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
That actually got us a decent amount of loot. A trinket to help keep Cavendish alive, and another vial of blood. Though we'll need to clear more space in our inventory. Okay, let's dump that citrine.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Alright, it actually looks like we're surrounded by a lot of empty rooms. That actually makes this scouting mission a lot easier. Besides, all this walking around really builds up an appetite. We've got a couple of hallway fights ahead of us. Those are usually smaller than room fights, so we should be fine. A pack of rabid dogs. Annoying, but easy to handle. We just need to kill these things before they can inflict too much bleeding or disease.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Begone, fiend! A death by inches.
Well, that might have been a bit of overkill there, Purge, but you know what? It's fine.
Back to the pit.
Okay, let's move on.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
We've got another hallway fight ahead of us, but otherwise it looks like things will be pretty quiet. Looks like a smaller cultist fight, and we have the advantage of surprise, so this should be quick.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I don't think we have any chance to kill both of them with a single attack. Let's focus on the one that's blighted.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, let's finish this.
Decimated. As victories mount, so too will resistance.
We're getting a pretty hefty amount of gold from these easy fights. I guess we need to clear even more room. Alright, let's dump the jade. A full stack of jade is worth less than a full stack of gold. And there's even more loot. I guess we'll dump the holy water. It's not really useful in the Weald anyway. And aside from that, I guess we'll... we can dump the herbs. That's really just used to get food out here, and we really don't need any more food.
The light, the promise of safety.
I guess we might as well check out that curio while we're here. Then we'll head back and check out the other half of the dungeon. Thank you, Purge. Honestly, it's uncanny how almost every one of our healers ended up with the curious quirk. We've got a trap up ahead of us, and once again, I don't think we brought anyone who can actually disarm traps. It's fine, we'll just have Cavendish handle it.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood.
He's fine. Everything's fine. We've got a treasure room ahead of us. That means we'll likely be up against a tougher fight. Let's set up camp first.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
This will give us a chance to buff up our heroes, and, more importantly, it'll clear up some inventory space.
Impressive haul, if you value such things. Such a burden of finery risks life and limb.
Now let's see what we're working with here. Okay, we shouldn't have any trouble clearing away everyone's stress. Now let's lay out a few buffs. Oh, I guess I should have used this before the stress heal. I'm sure it'll be fine. We've still got a few points left over, so let's clear the last of Rowan's stress. And I guess Carl will make himself even more stress resistant. Alright everyone, get some rest while you can.
And now, the darkness holds dominion. Black as death.
Well, we were ambushed, but as far as ambushes go, this one's not that bad.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Okay, maybe I spoke too soon.
A momentary abatement. Another abomination cleansed from our lands. Inspiration and improvement. This expedition at least promises success.
That basically undid the stress healing, but at least we still got buffs. Oh, a map. That didn't tell us much, but at least we know there are traps ahead. Yeah, this is definitely a tougher fight. Nice. That fungal scratcher will drop dead on its next action. Now we just need to start working on the other one.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Okay, we've got Blight on our back lines. Cavendish can take care of that.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
That's some very nice healing from our back liners.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
And now we just have to take out the artillery. They're basically caught in a loop now. They'll just keep trying to blight our frontliners until we kill them.
Singular strike.
There we go.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
There goes our last antidote.
Ornaments, neatly ordered, lovingly admired.
Well, that was disappointing. Let's move on. There goes the last of our shovels. Hopefully we won't be running into any more vines. Oh, nice work, Cavendish. I guess he's a quick learner. Since we're out of shovels, we can't actually dig up that grave. We'll skip it for now. There's our first ectoplasms. These things are usually pretty easy to handle, but they can get a bit out of hand if you're not careful. We're not having much luck here.
Executed with impunity.
Nicely done, Carl. Okay, that thing's basically dead, so let's do some healing. Purge and Cavendish seem to work really well together.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Another map. Not really necessary at this point. Whoops. Okay, now, Purge, see what your curiosity has wrought? You gave into your baser urges, and now you have syphilis.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Come on, guys. Just 3 more rooms, and 2 of them are empty.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Well, it looks like all the remaining rooms are empty. I guess we might as well clear the last few hallways. And we've got one more reasonably tough fight. The Acolyte's already gone, so we'll start by focusing on the Mushroom Men.
A powerful blow. The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
We've got one Scratcher neutralized. Now let's take the Acolyte out before she gets another action. Nice, we've basically won the fight. Everyone just needs to focus on that last Scratcher.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
We don't have any herbs, so we'll ignore the meat. Cavendish is getting pretty good with those mushrooms. Maybe those are the samples he's gathering.
Terrors may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold. Paths and roads bring soldiers and supplies. Let them arrive unharried.
Nowhere near as much loot as I had hoped, but overall, that was a pretty smooth run. Good work, everyone. I think that brings us to a good stopping point. We'll pick up here next time.